Hi, I'm Shauna Parsons, and you're watching Family Safety 123. We're here today to talk about firearm safety. It's easy to underestimate a child's ability to gain access to a firearm in the home. So if you or someone in your family keeps a gun, it's important to eliminate the risk that a child will find a firearm that's kept in a home. We're here with Officer Jimmy Price with the Portland Police Bureau to talk about how to make sure firearms are stored safely and away from kids. Thanks so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
There are some staggering statistics when it comes to guns. Consider this, more than 40% of American households with children have guns. About 3.3 million kids in the U.S. live in a household with firearms that are at times kept loaded and even unlocked. And as many as 75 to 80% of first and second graders know where their parents' gun is kept. Officer Price, those are some frightening numbers.
Yes, those are alarming statistics. A lot of people have guns in their home. They have them for three main reasons, either for recreation, for hunting, or for home protection. As a police officer, I keep a gun in my house. And for people that do have weapons in their house and they also have children in their house, I advise that they keep their guns locked up, unloaded, and out of reach and away from children.
Well, it seems everybody knows that guns can be dangerous if they get into the wrong hands, so it seems obvious we would keep them away from our kids. So how are kids getting hurt by guns?
Well, you know, guns are very compelling to kids. Most kids engage in some sort of fantasy play, even if they don't have toy guns. Many people think their child knows not to touch a gun. Some families even keep guns in places like a nightstand or out in the cupboard in the garage, and they think their child knows the rules. But every year, children die and are injured by breaking those rules, showing off, or just being curious.
So what types of rules should parents have for their kids when it comes to guns?
Rules are not enough. A parent needs to have complete control of their gun. They need to have it in a locked cabinet or in a gun safe.
So what is the best way for us to protect our kids when it comes to firearms?
Well, if you have a firearm in your house, there's some guidelines that you want to follow. Just like other dangerous things, guns should be stored safely and be totally inaccessible to children. This alone reduces unintentional gun deaths by 70%. Store all firearms in a locked gun cabinet out of reach. Consider purchasing a gun safe to store firearms in.
Okay, so you have the gun locked up, but what about the bullets? What do you do with them?
Well, you want to keep the ammunition in a separate locked compartment away from the gun. You might think, you know, this makes the gun harder to use if somebody breaks into the house, but you have to weigh the risk that your child has with the gun and the ammunition together versus the risk of somebody breaking in the house and having to load your weapon.
What else can we parents do?
You can purchase trigger locks for your weapons. If the lock is in place, the trigger cannot be pulled.
What about classes? Are there gun safety classes you can take?
If you hunt, there are a lot of gun safety classes you can take, and you should definitely think about taking these classes with your older children. And then while you're taking the classes, you want to be a good role model for them while you're handling your gun.
Thank you so much, Officer Price. That is such great advice on how a family can keep their child safe if they have a firearm in the house.
You're welcome.
Okay, so here is a quick summary of the 3 essential points. Number 1, if you do choose to have a firearm, safe storage is a requirement. Number 2, keep ammunition and guns in separate, locked places. And number 3, buy a gun safe and trigger locks for all firearms. These are a few simple changes to make that will make a dramatic difference to keep your children from gaining access to a gun. And remember, you are the best role model for your kids. Play it safe to keep them safe.